All right, today in geometry we're going to cover lesson 3.2, which we're going to talk about parallel lines and transversals. Transversals was something that we covered yesterday, right? Yeah. And a transversal was two lines and a line that cuts through them, right? All right. All right. So two lines and a line that cuts through them. Today, we're going to be working with parallel lines, okay? And this is the part I need to stress the most, parallel lines. Did I say that they had to be parallel? No. When we had a transversal, did the lines have to be parallel? No. Today, they are parallel. So it's going to be a difference, okay? First off, corresponding angles postulate, okay? That one, you guys remember corresponding angles? All right. Those ones, if we have two lines and a transversal, okay, for people that weren't here yesterday, this line's a transversal because it cuts through two or more lines, right? If I have that angle, which one is its corresponding angle?
The other angle, like, if the arrow keeps going, make the arrow, like, right there, down, right there.
This one right here? Wrong.
What?
All right, let me number them. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why is it 5? Yeah, it's the same angle, same position. Now, if we make two groups of 4 angles, one on top, one on the bottom, both my arrow and number 5 are in the top right corner. Okay? That's why they're corresponding, because they're in the same position. All right? So here the book definition says, corresponding angles postulate. If two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then the pairs of corresponding angles are congruent. All right? Has a lot of meaning, doesn't it? No. The translation is, corresponding angles are congruent on parallel lines, okay? For you guys, in your notes, what I underlined in green is what's important, okay? This is what's in your book. It's probably not going to help you a bunch. But on the bottom is what that really means. Corresponding angles are congruent on parallel lines. Right? And again, this only works on what type of lines? Parallel, right? Don't get caught doing this when the lines are not parallel. Let's try another one. I'll name this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, now I'm looking at angle number 8. Darren, what's its corresponding angle?
2.
No. 4. If we look at 8 and we see two groups of 4, do you guys see two groups of 4 angles? There's a group of 4 on this side and then on this side. Both 4 and 8 are in the lower right-hand angle, right? Okay. Dylan, what one is corresponding to angle 1? Not 8. 1 is in the top left. Which one's in the top left over here? 5. All right, moving on. Okay, right here. We want to identify congruent angles. What's congruent mean? Same, right? So we want to identify the same or equal measured angles. There's 3 angles here that are measured of 120. Which ones are they and why? Okay? Now, Linker, you think you have a guess?
There's 5. I know 5.
You think 5's one of them, okay? That would be right, but what's wrong with that? What's the key word about today? Parallel. Do we know those two lines are parallel?
No.
They look parallel, but do we know for sure?
No.
No, because they might go on for 100 miles in this direction and then touch. They might be so slight that we can't tell. Okay? Let me redo this. Now they're parallel. Okay? TJ, did you have something?
Wait.
Number 4 is a congruent one. Okay, now we have, you said 5, right?
5.
So we have 5 4, and then what was the other one? 8. Okay, now we have to explain. Okay? Why 5?
Because it's in the same position as where it says.
Yeah, and so instead of saying all that, same position, everything like that, let's say corresponding angles, right? I'll take that. I don't need the postulate part. I don't need corresponding angles postulate. If you guys just tell me corresponding angles, I'm okay with that, okay? TJ said number 4. Why number 4?
I forgot what it's called.
Does anybody remember? Because it's right, but what's the word? Vertical, right? Vertical. Now number 8, Gloria. Why is number 8 also 120? Because it's corresponding to angle 4. Okay, that's good. What else could you have said? You could have explained it a different way. How else could you explain it? Go ahead, Gloria.
You can say it's, wait, what was it again? Oh, it's like, I can't even say. So it's like other things to the side.
Let's see if we can get somebody else to say it a little bit better. All right, let's go, Jose.
It's vertical to number 5.
Yeah, we knew number 5, so we could say it's vertical to number 5, right? You have another way still, or what? It's alternate. Have we learned that yet? Well, we learned about alternate exterior, but did we learn that they were congruent? No. Not yet. That was a great one because there's those other types of angles, right? There's alternate exterior, there's alternate interior, and there's consecutive interior. They each have a special connection, right? Alternate interior angles, they are congruent. Alternate exterior, like you said, was with 120 and angle 8, congruent. Consecutive interior angles are not congruent. They're supplementary, which means 180, right? But remember, when do these things happen? Parallel, right? Those lines have to be parallel. Only if you want to remember it. Now, I know that some of you guys will remember that just fine, but I wouldn't want to have you guys get to a test or a quiz, right, and space it and not have it in your notes, right? Now, one thing, let's see if I can make a nice looking one over here. Okay, so I have a transversal here and everything, right? Let's say, if you look at that transversal, it comes up with 8 angles, right? And I can label them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, if you look, there's going to be 4 angles that are quote-unquote small angles and 4 that are big, right? Here, what we can kind of shortcut way is any big angle will be equal to any other big angle, and a little angle will be equal to any other little angle, so long as the lines are parallel, right? So, angle 6, Alexis, is that a big angle or a small angle? Small, right? So we look, angle 6 is smaller than angle 8, right? So angle 6 is a small angle. Dylan, give me another small angle, that one. Yeah. 3. 3 is another small angle. What do I know about those 2 angles? They're congruent so long as these are parallel, right? So any small angle will be equal to any other small angle. Any big angle will be equal to any other big angle. What if I have a small angle plus a big angle? Supplementary, that you will add them and they will equal 180. So if I took angle 7 plus angle 4, Those are not any of the vocab words we learned. They are not alternate interior, they're not alternate exterior, they're not consecutive, they're not corresponding. But I know that they will be supplementary. Consecutive interior would be like 3 and 5. Right? But if I look at 7 and 4, we don't have any words to relate those to. But I still know that they will be supplementary because one's a small, one's a big. All right, here we want to find the value of x. So, let's see if we can figure this out. Well, we could do this a long way, and I could say that angle 4 has to be equal to what measure? There.
Oh, angle 4, yeah. 75. 75. No.
Both wrong.
115. See how it's
115. Those two are vertical. Those two are vertical. They're not going to be. All right. That's all right. Now, angle 4 and x plus 5, they are consecutive interiors, right? So we know that they're supplementary, so I can say 115 plus x plus 5 is equal to 180. This is x plus 120 when I combine like terms.
60.
Minus, excuse me. X is 60. But this was kind of a long way, right? Because we solved for angle 4. Yeah.
Well, can't you, okay, so if it all has to be 180, why can't you just like 180 minus 115?
Well, if I go 180 minus 115, that'll give me 65, which is this whole angle. But I just want x. So this is equal to that whole angle of x plus 5, so I need to still minus that 5. You still get 60, you still get the same answer. Okay? Now, we took an extra step of finding angle 4 first, right? We went vertical angles, then consecutive angles, and then we solved. But we know if we have parallel lines, we know any small angle will equal any other small angle, any big angle will equal any other big angle, and any big plus a small will equal 180. Is 115 a big or a small? Yeah, bigs are going to be anything bigger than 90, which is obtuse. Is that one a big or a small? So I know I could just add those two together and get 180 and solve from there, right? Which would start us off at that step. All right, writing proofs. Okay, this is going to be something that you guys are going to do. Some of you guys will like it. Some of you guys won't at all, right? People that won't like it are people like Brian, who doesn't like writing very much. All right, so here what we're going to do is we're going to say we have two parallel lines cut by a transversal. We want to prove that the pair of alternate interior angles are congruent. We've already said that, right? Yes. We're going to prove that without saying, oh, well, the book says, right? All right. Hey, Marissa? All right. So what we have here is two parallel lines cut by a transversal. Then I have alternate interior angles. So I'm looking at like those two bad boys, right? So what I want to do is I want to prove those two are equal using information they gave us and sounding pretty official, okay? I don't want to just say, oh, small angle equals small angle, done, right? Because that's not official. That's just kind of a way for us to remember it, okay? So this is how I want you guys to write proofs. We'll say proof. Let's see. Over on one side, we're going to write what we know. On the other side, we're going to write y. Yes. All right. Your first thing that you should always write on your proof scale, this is kind of like one of those eye charts we did, but it's not going to be nearly as bad as those eye format problems. Okay. First thing that's always going to be on there, very first thing, is things that they gave you, okay? These are called the given. That's the reason, okay? Whatever the story problem tells you. So if I look, what does the storyline tell, or the story problem tell me? Those are what they want us to prove. They want us to prove that those are congruent, but that's not what they gave us. Yes.
Excuse interruption, juniors and seniors, please go to the cafeteria.
All right. So right here, what we know is we know the lines are parallel, right? And that's the parallel sign? Okay. Now, what should we do from there, right? We know the lines are parallel. What other things do we know from this lesson? Right? And if I'm looking, I'll draw a little picture over here. I want to prove that one and that one are the same. How can we do that on this problem? Let's look at what tools we have to use, right? We can use vertical angles. We can use supplementary angles. We can use corresponding angles, okay? Those are all things that we can use. Does anybody see anything that you guys want to try? Never mind. You read the thing? You read the line. So the lines are parallel. That's our given, right? Oh, yeah. You put them. Okay. Like what? Alternate interior? Well, that's what we want to prove, right? So we shouldn't use that one to prove what we're going to do, right? Just like if you're defining a word, you shouldn't use the word that you're defining, right? So let's look. What other things can we prove? Sometimes, I mean, anything. Can we use vertical angles in here? Can we use congruent or corresponding? I mean, any of those will work, okay? So does anybody see any of those that we can use? Corresponding. Which one do you want to use corresponding with? Right? Maybe I can call this angle A and B, if that helps us. Corresponding. So what spot's corresponding? B is corresponding to here, right? So I'll say angle B is congruent to angle C. How do we know that? Corresponding. That's good. That's a good step, right? Is that getting us closer? What else do I know? So you want to say angle A is congruent to angle, we'll call that one D, right? Y, angle D, Y, another corresponding. All right. Remember the goal is to say angle A is equal to angle B, right? Well, we've used corresponding. What other type of tools do we have? What were some of the ones I listed besides corresponding? Vertical, right? Do we have any vertical angles there? A and C, so I can say angle A is equal to angle C. I should say congruent. Why? Vertical. Okay, that's good. Now, let me see what we have here. Okay? We have C is equal to A, and then C is equal to B. Right? We have both those. So we should be able to say that A is equal to B, right? Because if I say, Cook is the same age as Brenda, and Brenda is the same age as Alexis, then I could say, what about Cook and Alexis? They're the same age, right? So what I'm going to say here is I'm going to say angle A is congruent to angle C, which is congruent to angle B.
Well, isn't it just a bunch of baloney just to kind of distract you?
How is that baloney? They are all equal.
Because LA is equal to LC.
Those are angles. That's angle A is equal to angle C, which is angle A.
Okay, working bigger to C. So wouldn't it just be like easy just to say that they're all the same and just be like, okay, I mean, angle A is equal to angle B instead of just like B on angle C.
That would be true, except for when we do these proofs, they're a little bit longer than what we usually do, okay? They're kind of a practice in seeing thought processes and stuff like that. Yeah, it's going to be longer. I mean, it's not baloney, it's just longer, right? So I want you guys to write out the steps and everything like that for these proofs. There might be a couple per assignment. It's not like the whole assignment's going to be this, okay? So it's not going to be really bad. Just when you have them, I mean, do them right, all right? TJ, put it away. Angle A is equal to angle B, which is equal to angle C. Let me try that again. Angle A is equal to angle C, which is equal to angle B. And like Gloria said, we should just write this, right? About proofs? Maybe with B. Might have. Then this last one is called, is it transative or transitive?
Transitive.
Like that?
Yes.
I don't know. If you guys think it's spelled the other way, then it's spelled the other way, okay? I was thinking transitive with an A. Now, with this, what transitive means is just basically means that there's three things, right? They're equal to a middle one, and just getting rid of that middle one, right? So it's like saying that, you know, Cook is the same age as Katie, which is the same age as Alexis, to get rid of the middleman, which is Katie. All right, that's the transitive property, saying that we're just looking at Cook and Alexis.
It's like transitive.
Okay, transitive, and then that's what we wanted to prove, right? So we're done, and that's the end of the proof. That's it, right? Now, it's a lot of steps and everything. Get used to them, because we're going to do them with triangles for a month. This is the last one. When a sunlight enters a drop of rain, different colors leave the drop at different angles. Okay, this is how a rainbow is formed. And then they talk about for violet light, measure of angle 2 is 40. And there's a picture here. Okay, and let's see. So we have like a rainbow. All right, and then purple, which I don't know how to make purple. I think I have to come over here. What's purple? Well, they said purple.
We need orange too.
Oh man, this is getting to be too much of a.
Roy G. Red, orange.
There we go. There's my rainbow, and I'm not going to do anything else to it. Now, they said the violet light makes a 40-degree angle. Okay, so we have a. All right, and that's Mr. Davis out looking at rainbows. All right, so this angle here, which is 2, is 40 degrees. All right. In the book, they want to know how big is angle 1, which is right there. All right. So we need to try to figure that out. A lot of times with these word problems and the more difficult problems, the tough part about it is breaking it into a simple problem like that with the transversal. Okay. Do you guys see how there's almost a transversal there? Right, we're just kind of missing like that part right there. Are these lines parallel? Not as I drew them, but are sunlight or sun rays parallel?
Not really.
Yeah, they are. When they hit the earth, they are. All right? So if we look at angle 2 and angle 1, what type of angles are those going to be? What? They are alternate interior, not consecutive interiors. Consecutives would be like these two. Consecutive would equal 180. But these two are alternate interior, which means that they're going to be congruent, right? It's what? So angle 1 would be 42. If you guys want to see a better picture about that, you guys can look in your books, and then you won't have to argue about how my picture is flawed. All right. This is your homework assignment, okay? The tough problems, I think, are right here, the 37 through 40, if I remember right. But let's go ahead and try these.